when we first started talking, I was actually amazed because I started to learn a little bit about your story from just us chatting at the gym. And you told me literally, like in the course of like 2020, I think it was, you, during COVID, you set up a gym, became a parent, moved house.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine what you've packed into that 1 year there.
Yeah, so like things were pretty steady for a while, like PTing, lots of hours, but trying to grow a business. But COVID then hit, and we was always looking to open a gym. The October before COVID, we had just bought our house, and then COVID hit, so like no income. It was pretty stuck really, and then it's just like fortunate. We had a contact that said, look, there's a unit available. Do you want to take the option? So we took the option 3 weeks before lockdown to set the gym up. So we didn't know how long it was going to go on for. I was always pretty positive and like, oh, I'd be fine. See what happens. We'll crack on.
Well, no one had experienced anything. I mean, taking it 3 weeks before, I suppose we were only thinking, God, what was going to happen back then? No one knew. No one knew what was going on. It could have just been, I mean, that first lockdown, I thought it was a couple of weeks maybe.
Yeah, so like it was in Italy for a while, wasn't it? Like, and everyone's like, oh, Italy's going to go into lockdown, this, that, and the other. And I was like, well, what is a lockdown? Which is, we'll see what happens. So we just took the risk. So it was either now or never. I was getting a bit like disjointed with PT, and it was going on for a long time, unsociable hours, and I was kind of thinking, what's the future of this? Blah, blah, blah. So then it got to the point I was like, right, there's an option. There's a unit. I know the area. I've got it's established client base now. Me and the missus had just been together. She was helping me with a company, so she decided to jack in what she was doing. She was working for her dad as an electrician.
Okay.
So she'd been an electrician for 10 years. So my dad's a tradesman as well. So with all the help, we was like, right, we can, we've got assistants, trade accounts here and there, and we can get materials to set it up how we want it. So she was doing that for 10 years. We was like, right, we're going to set our own thing up. Here we go. So new house, 3-4 months later, set the gym up, like trying to do the tiling at my house in the weekends, all working a week in the gym, trying to get that ready. Obviously lockdown, can't do that much, but just mental, just straight into lockdown once we had opened, basically. So I was trying to set the gym up while I was doing that, like painting, decorating, just me and her really, just painting the walls, priming them, getting them ready for what we can do, and getting ready to open when we actually eventually come out of lockdown. So yeah, we was open. So Leo was 2-3 weeks ago. So we literally was open for about a year. She fell pregnant. So like it's been a crazy last 15 months or so.
I said to my wife earlier when she said, "Oh, who are you talking to today?" I said, "Oh, James from the gym." She's like, "All right, what's the story?" And I said, "Well," because of course we've just had a baby as well.
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, can you imagine? Obviously, to my wife, we've had a baby. Can you imagine at the same time of having a baby, we're setting up a business and we're going to move house?" She's like, "No." Yeah. she was gobsmacked kind of what you've been through. But and also the gym. I tell you this in the gym all the time. It's the best gym. I love this gym. I feel fortunate that gym is there, and it's so fortunate it's like around here at this time, because in my opinion it's just totally different than to going to Fitness First or Pure Gym. What do you think makes the difference? What have you done differently to make it the way it is?
Obviously, I kind of have a bit of a no dickhead policy. So like I try to avoid having like really self-centered people like in the mirrors and that kind of stuff, that kind of vibe. But when I was a PT, I was like, right, how can I make myself different? Like do stuff that's gonna build. So like I was trying to like develop a community, even when I wasn't at the gym and I didn't own the gym myself. So I was like, right, how can I get people to work together and like take some pressure off? It's just one-to-one, like seeing one person there at the door, the next person comes in, and so on and so forth. I was like, how can I build a community? So we started semi-private personal training. We'd have like 2 or 3 people together in a session. They kind of do their own thing in their own programming, but they end up training alongside each other. And you've gone from having a handful of people doing that to now that's predominantly what the gym is about. So we run all the classes and the memberships in that sense, where you got strength clubs, boot camps, and larger groups. But 70% of our income comes from semi-private.
Okay.
So like, it's this small group personal training sessions where everyone does all their training together. They're on their individual plans, but they develop this community and they come in like, oh, what's this your new one? I'll come in, we'll come to that time as well. So now they've gone through this journey and they always want to train together, and they have this like fear of missing out. But they always want to be in the gym together, they train together, set little gym challenges every month, bits and pieces like that, and it just kind of like snowballed. So I've managed to do that when I wasn't having my own place, and then going from having this system to then being in a gym and being able to adapt it and formulate it from what it was to where it is now, it's just like expanded and got much, much bigger and better.
So do you think the gym community is an important part of kind of the culture?
I think it's essentially like 90% of it.
Really?
Yeah, like obviously I've got to turn up on time, be punctual, be charismatic, and, you know, be there and aware, and be obviously on top of everyone and make sure everyone's doing everything and doing my job, that kind of stuff. But like a lot of it now runs itself in that sense, whereas when I'm on a semi-private, if they're quite advanced and they know what they're doing, so like one of the girls, Tatiana, might come in, she competes at World's Strongest Woman, like she's also a coach herself, so she comes in for semi-private with me, so she's got her programming that's catered to go to Worlds. We've got all the strongman equipment to do that. It's not where they're a strongman gym, but we have all that equipment that she can train on, and she does it, and everyone there likes her because she's like into something more extreme, and everyone pushes her along and wants to see her do well. So you've got that end of the spectrum, and you've got people who are completely novice, and they're on there as well, and you end up with this massive blend, and they all seem to just like get along. It's kind of like a very low stress, low intensity environment where people can just relax, and it just kind of like breeds itself. It's like really easy to run now in that sense, like the coaching element of it. They're all kind of like know the routine, know the system, and you kind of like have all these people who have been doing it for 4 or 5 years, and people come in and they see what they are like is it expected of them, and once they're in that routine, it's kind of like easy to tick them over. I find that helps massively.
Well, I think you know, to achieve anything in the gym, I think we all know it's about consistency. You got to turn up. But it's also then, when I was really getting into the gym, I started training with someone at the very beginning. So therefore, there was a joint responsibility. You have to be there at 6.
Yeah. Accountability.
It's the accountability. And actually, what I noticed with your gym and the people that are there, they're all in the same group, and therefore they're like, well, where are you?
Yeah.
Where aren't you there? And they were saying, you know, so there is like this accountability, but also a community where people want to be there and they want to train together. And I was reading some of the social posts before, and like some people was just on there just saying, you know, if they miss out, it is that. And it's very hard to get that fear of missing out going to the gym.
Yeah.
And that's somehow you've kind of created that.
Yeah, it's amazing, really. Like, I honestly think a lot of the people are the ones that create it. So there are some like really big personalities at the gym, and they just make the environment so much nicer for everyone. Like, it's so welcoming. Everyone says hello to each other. Everyone's very welcoming. It's just one of those things that just seems to have rubbed off really well. We seem to have like hit the nail on the head in that essence. The people just enjoy coming, and the bigger the group seems to have a more of a snowball effect on it. I imagine if it gets really big, it might change, but I'm trying to control that.
I mean, it's also, I've been going and training for years now, but it's also just, it's different because if I think about my past, and I've done bodybuilding stuff, and then I've done cardio stuff and running marathons and stuff, and then I've also done CrossFit. It's like your gym is a perfect blend of all of that, but in one. But you don't come in, and if I think about Fitness First, where we both used to if you work with me, train, and walk straight into Fitness First, left hand side all cardio, and then but obviously in your gym it's not like that.
No, it's set up very differently,
and that I think for someone who understands training, it's taken me a long time to understand training, to understand, oh, this is what good looks like.
Yeah,
you don't need to be going off doing marathons every day to kind of get the physique you want. Yeah,
you could look at it in 2 ways. Like, you could be a CrossFit gym and you could just do CrossFit and then get, you know, lots of members because they attract that kind of personality, a really type A personality, who want to do CrossFit or like runners, and we kind of like have that blend of we're kind of in the middle ground where a lot of people do competitions, they do running, they do strongman, they do bits and pieces, and we kind of like just sit in that little middle ground of you can do. So we have like a lot of CrossFit athletes come down and they train, but they do their weights training for their CrossFit at our gym, because a lot of CrossFit gyms don't let them use the open gym.
Yeah.
So they want to go do their basic lifts, their squats, their deadlifts, their overhead press, and do their compound movements. But CrossFit gyms often don't let open gym happen. So they use our gym, and they come and they do their basic compound stuff, and their basic strength training there. So we kind of sit in this little middle ground.
Which I think is probably the best place to be, because obviously fitness is subjective, you know, and the fitness, well-being, health, it's all very subjective down to what it is that you're trying to achieve and everything. But I think for me, it sits nicely in the middle, because when I've been to going to CrossFit gyms, after a while, I just think, I don't want to do that today. I don't want to do that WOD. And I think it's great for someone maybe starting out, or even someone who really wants to progress, but someone who sits kind of just in the middle where you've done it, but you don't want to compete, or, you know, you just want to train and have a good session. You know, it's like, you don't necessarily want to do that CrossFit session, or I don't know, it falls nicely in between, which is kind of where I think the best part of it comes. That's why I think it's so attractive.
You don't have to be so extreme at anything.
No.
We're like,
it's like you've taken the best of all of it, really.
Yeah, and I think that's just a bit of my personality. That it's not like we set out a business plan. We're like, right, we're gonna sit in the middle ground of all these other things, and then that's where we're gonna be. It's kind of like my training style, my personality, and it's kind of like rubbed off that way. Like Jess has done, like my partner, she's done CrossFit in the past. She's done strongman stuff. She's done bits and pieces like that. And we have this like blend of experience, and that's just where we sit, and that's where we are. Kind of like, I like to think, balanced people. We don't want to be right on the end of the spectrum with anything, and we just have this blended approach now.
What's it like working with your partner?
Intense.
Is it?
Yeah. She will hate me for this because she will watch this, but she's good as gold. Like, she works really hard, and she does all of the background stuff.
Right.
So I have the ability to come to the gym. She does all my food for me, but I've got to turn up and I've got a coach. And she's like, right, admin, advertising, any messages, social media posts, whatever it is, she's all over it. And she essentially has to put up with me working all day, getting home late, unsociable hours. I think we're up to about 6 or 7 coaches now, so it's definitely growing in the right direction. But there's no sign of slowing down yet.
No, I think it's growing.
Yeah, the trajectory is definitely on the up, and I think she would like the idea of a bit more family time, especially with a 1-year-old. But essentially, we're trying to push harder to get over these hurdles, because obviously during COVID, setting up a gym, we acquired debt. We've got to pay that off now, so that's one of the things you don't really look into, right? You're not just paying for the gym, you've got to pay off the investment that you put in to start with. So
Do you find it was a big risk at the time? Or I mean, it sounds like it was a calculated risk. I mean, going into any business is.
Sounds a bit cheesy, but I'd like try to back myself a little bit.
Sounds like you're in Love Island.
Yeah. I've got good people around me, good business people around me. So a lot of my best friends have their own businesses for 10 years. Got a lot of older friends who've done their own things for a while. I said, if you get into real trouble, I'll help you out. So blah, blah, blah. But essentially we had to go and get, cash deposit to put down and invest heavily to set up. So going into lockdown, we were still paying that off, and we will be for a while. But, that adds stress, right? You've got a baby, don't see your missus as much as you should. Like, it's not like I go to work early. I go to work really early and come back really late.
I mean, it's really early.
Yeah,
Aren't you? Because you're there at 6, I'm there at 6.
Yeah.
So, and then you're working there through to
9 o'clock at
9
night.
o'clock at night. And it has to be manned. You need someone there.
Yeah.
But and the flip side of that is that you're also doing this with your co-founder, Jess.
Yeah.
So in partnership,
Yeah.
at work, at home, with baby, it's just so much on.
Yeah, so you do all that, and then, little Leo might be up at 2 o'clock in the morning, so you're giving a bottle, back to bed. Alarm goes at 5, and you start your day again.